Alrighty guys, so this video is going to show you how to check the balance of your garage door. This is something, I don't know, maybe once a year to check. Show you how to check the balance, give you a few signs on why your door might be unbalanced. So, for checking the balance of your door, start with the door in the down position, and you want to pull down on the red rope to disconnect the operator from the door. And then that will allow you to lift the door manually. Basically, you want to check that the door will stay halfway open and that it will stay fully open. With the door fully open, this is about where you want, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be this high. You want it to be able to stay. Basically, you want it to be able to sit above the point where these two tracks meet. And then you also want to check that the door can stay halfway. In this case, the door can stay halfway. Now, you can always check, quarter of the way up too, but, quarter of the way up, it's pretty natural for some doors to drift down at that point. And it's also, if you have glass on the top panel of your door, that also has an effect on that. Most of the times, if you have glass on the top of your door, it will not stay a quarter of the way up. The other thing that's good to check with the door open is the cables. You want to make sure the cables still have tension on them when the door's up. You don't have slack on one side. If you do have slack on one side, it could be as big of an issue as, it could be your tracks are way off, or it could be a frayed cable, or it could just be one of the drums slipped. But if your door is out of balance, meaning it doesn't stay halfway up or fully open or both or whatever, do not touch these springs yourself if you don't know what you're doing. Pretty easy to get yourself hurt when you're messing with these. So my advice is just leave them be, call somebody to do it for you, because it's not worth getting yourself hurt. And signs of having the wrong springs could be if the door, if when you bring the door up, if it is heavy off the floor, and once you get up to this point, the door flies up. It's a neighbor's cat. If the door flies up the second half and it's heavy towards the ground, that's a sign of having the wrong springs. It also could very well be the opposite. You want to come in here? You really want to come in, don't you? What do you want? But yeah, so if the door is heavy on the floor and then flies up, that's a sign of the wrong springs. Or it could be the opposite. If the door flies up and is heavy towards the top, that could be wrong springs as well. A couple of other signs to look for if your door is out of balance. Couple things to check as far as the operator goes. One thing to look for, if you have a chain or a belt drive operator, if you see the chain or belt sagging really far below the rail, if you see one side of the rail, the chain or belt is really tight, and the other side it's really loose, that could be a sign of the door being really heavy. So just kind of, run your motor and just kind of watch that chain or belt. In this case, this door is a well-balanced door, so it's sitting pretty evenly on both sides there. Another thing to check if the door is heavy is if the door kind of drifts down when you stop it. So, if you ever notice, if you stop it midway through the travel on the way down, if you see the door drift down a lot and then it seems to have a hard time getting started back up, that could also be a sign of the door being too heavy. The last thing you can kind of look at is the rail on the operator. If you see the rail bowing downwards excessively, that actually could be a sign of a broken spring if the rail's bowing down excessively. But if the door is severely out of balance, again, just kind of watch the rail on the operator. It should be pretty straight for the most part. You might see it bounce around a little bit, which is normal. But if you see the rail bowing downwards, that also could be a sign of a heavy door, unbalanced door, broken spring, whatever. So just check that every year, halfway up and fully open. Check your cables, make sure your cables are both tight. And if you see any of those signs with your operator, or if you hear the operator grinding, that could be a sign of an unbalanced door as well. So thanks for watching, and if you got any questions, leave a comment and I will get back with you.